This is the brief on the homelessness crisis in Alaska. Alaska is facing an unprecedented housing emergency, highlighted by a record 37% surge in unhoused residents, forcing cities and the state to make difficult and sometimes controversial choices. First, let's look at the root cause: a massive economic gap. You know, it takes an hourly wage of $26.32 just to afford a modest two-bedroom apartment in Alaska. This brutal math has driven a 37% surge in the unhoused population, leaving 2,686 residents without homes on any given night. Think of it like a game of musical chairs, where the chairs are simply too expensive to buy, leaving thousands standing out in the cold. Second, cities are scrambling to handle the overflow from this economic gap. In Anchorage, following the Supreme Court's Grants Pass ruling, a controversial new ban criminalizes camping near schools and trails, despite the grim reality of 99% shelter occupancy. Seriously, if you criminalize camping when shelters are already functionally full, where exactly are people supposed to go? Meanwhile, Juneau is pivoting, extending its winter warming shelter into a year-round operation to give displaced people a legal place to stay. Finally, while local cities struggle with capacity, the state's financial safety net is simultaneously unraveling. The governor's proposed a 50% cut to the Homeless Assistance Program, or HAP, which would slash funding from $10.15 million down to $5 million. That's a devastating blow to the state's primary eviction prevention and shelter funding source. As Alaska's unhoused population hits record highs, the clash between rising housing costs, local camping bans, and severe state funding cuts threatens to push a fragile system entirely over the edge.
Today, we want to send a very detailed and sincere thank you to Stephen Ferry. Stephen was born and raised right there in Delaware, and he is the author and creator behind the PH podcast.
And his work brings such vital, on-the-ground insight to these deeply complex issues.
Absolutely. And we must specifically mention the Perfectly Homeless Etsy store. If you're looking to support this kind of work, you really need to check it out.
Highly recommend it.
As Stephen says, Perfectly Homeless is more than a phrase, it's a perspective. Built from real life, real lessons, and the honest path of learning as we go, this brand is here to share the story of van life, homelessness, survival, and the human spirit behind it all. Every piece of merch helps support the channel, allowing me to keep exploring deeper topics, sharing practical insight, and building something meaningful from the road.